Welcome back to another episode of the Grid Buzz podcast, where we will be doing our sector times and star signs, our race predictions for the Spanish GP. So heading into the Spanish GP, it's rounding out the triple header that we just had of Imola, Monaco, and now Barcelona. Unfortunately, this is another track that historically has also been tough to pass at, similar to the last two. Hopefully we get a bit of a change up though, given the fact that, Monaco was a letdown, but Imola, which typically is hard to pass on, we got a lot of passes. So hopefully we get that again with the Spanish GP. We will see how that plays out. Heading into the weekend, a few key updates. The big one being that the flexi wing is going away. So this has been talked about since the beginning of the season. I know that Red Bull and Mercedes have complained a lot about it, specifically how much McLaren's wing flexes. So we will see how that impacts the McLaren car. A lot of people seem to think or are speculating that this will have an impact on McLaren's performance and bring them down closer to the rest of the pack. Some people are also speculating that Max Verstappen will be a big winner of this with the flexi wing going away, and that this will make him more competitive in the World Drivers' Championship contention. Toto Wolff also said this week that he thinks that Ferrari may actually be the big winner of the flexi wing going away, because they were typically a bit conservative here. And so he thinks that this will play in their favor. Fred Vasseur also said the same thing. So I don't know if I'm just getting a big shot of hopium with that, but I'm going to ride this high as long as I can, that Ferrari is not out of it, even though they are, unfortunately, it'll take a lot to turn it around. But McLaren started off a little bit slow last year and then came in really hot at the mid-season / end of year and almost closed the gap to Max in the World Drivers' Championship. And, obviously they did win the Constructors' Championship. Now, I don't think McLaren's so far out front of the Constructors' Championship at this point that it would take an absolute miracle to catch up there. Plus, we only really care about the Drivers' Championship anyway. So, maybe a sliver of hope for Leclerc if this plays in his favor. But yeah, we will see how it pans out.
For the people who don't know what the wing does, break it down for us.
So the vibes, the star signs doesn't know what the flexi wing is. So essentially, there's like photos and videos that are taken that when the cars are at high speed and there's a lot of like aero over it, a lot of downforce, it was causing the wing to flex or like flatten out. And by the wing flexing and flattening out, it was actually, in a way, it was giving performance in two areas, because they could have more of a wing that provided more downforce at lower speeds, which makes the car corner better. But then at higher speeds where you don't want drag, the wing was flexing out and becoming like more flat. And so it was giving less downforce and making the car more aerodynamically efficient in a straight line. So that is more or less what the flexi wing is. What are the vibes on flexi wings? Do we like them or do we dislike them?
I have no idea.
Just yes or no. Yes or no. 3, 2, 1.
No?
Hey. I'll take it, because supposedly it's going to help Ferrari, and I will take the vibes. Just total vibes guess that no, we don't like flexi wings, because I don't like flexi wings because supposedly they hurt Ferrari and supposedly they help McLaren. We'll see how that pans out at the end of this weekend, whether that is true or whether that is typical team games where they try to make things up that hurt other teams, whether they are beneficial or not, similar to the speculation that McLaren was putting water in their tires to help cool it down, which turned out to not be true. But anyway, do you understand now?
Yeah, I understand.
You got the lesson on the flexi wing.
Thank you.
You're welcome for coming to Formula One
Boot camp.
aerodynamics 101. All right, moving into our results for last week. So you had for the Monaco GP, your picks were George Russell as your surprise performance. Do you know what happened to George Russell? He got stuck behind a Williams pair who was doing team game strategies the entire race and got so frustrated that he cut the track to pass them and then got 2 drive-through penalties for it. So all of that to say, like, George Russell's race went very poorly, but he did get a free dinner out of it. Alex Albon, the driver who was slowing him up, bought him dinner. So, yeah, that was nice, I guess. But yeah, surprise performance, no points. Flop, Max did get 4th, but 4th is not enough to call it a flop. We said that Max had to finish outside the top 5. So you also get no points there. Pole position, Charles Leclerc. Tough. Barely missed out on pole, but no points there. Charles Leclerc to win. Same thing. Barely missed out on the victory, so no points there. Lando Norris in 2nd place. Lando Norris got 1st place, so no points there. Fernando Alonso on the podium. I DNF'd on lap 44. So
it's okay.
Yeah, not the vibes did not pull through in Monaco. Also, your crazy prediction of Max exiting the race to watch on his yacht also did not
Which
happen.
I found out apparently that a different driver did that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
We talked about the Kimi Räikkönen.
Maybe I saw something and like in my subconscious I thought of it. I don't know.
Maybe. But anyway, the vibes so far between the Imola GP and the Monaco GP, you got 1 point for Imola. You got 0 points for Monaco. So you better start manifesting yourself up some points in this episode because you're getting left behind a bit. Not that my picks were all that great either. I started out with 3 points after Imola, 3 to your 1. For the Monaco GP, I had Alonso as my surprise performance, DNF'd, although he was on track for a 6th place finish, so that would have been definitely a surprise. Did get a point because I called Yuki as my flop. Qualified 12th, finished P17, so Yuki had a pretty flop of a weekend. So I got 1 point for that. Pole position, Charles.
I feel like that is very subjective.
Basically finishing last place when your teammate finished 4th place, I don't think is
poor Yuki.
I don't think it's subjective.
Coming for mine.
But you just like Yuki and he can do no wrong.
He can do no wrong.
Yuki Tsunoda
He's my
can do no
golden
wrong.
boy.
Yeah, he's stay golden. I also had Charles for pole position, so no points for me there and just depression. I also had Charles to win, did not get that. I had Max 2nd, did not get that. I had Piastri 3rd, I did get that, so chalk that point up. I also had Williams for my crazy prediction. Williams gets another top 5 finish. They did score points in back-to-back weekends, but they did not get another top 5 finish, so no points there. So I get +2. So we are now, after 2 races, 5 points to 1 point. And like I said, hopefully you can manifest up some points for the Spanish GP. We will see, though. Diving into that, surprise performance. Who do you got for your surprise performance at the Spanish GP of Barcelona?
I put Fernando Alonso as my
right.
surprise performance, placing in the top 5.
Placing in the top 5.
Yeah.
That would be, you want to go that high?
It's his home race, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're feeling top 5?
Mhm. I'm feeling good about it. It's his home race. You always do better at home. That's like a thing. It's like psychological.
Okay.
You have to prove yourself.
So I also had my surprise performance as Alonso, but I just had him to score points because he hasn't scored any
That's
points.
top 10, right?
Yeah, because he hasn't scored points this season.
Well, it would be a surprise.
Yeah, but
If you
top 5 that would be a real surprise.
Should I move it to top 8?
That would be like crazy prediction. territory.
Okay, I'll do top 8.
All right. I'm gonna give you top 8. I'm gonna give you some
This is why
leeway
it's
there,
vibes.
so you get some
It's all
points on.
vibes.
How about this?
He has to do well
All
because it's his home race.
We'll give you a double header. If he gets top 8, you get a point. I get a point if he scores points because that's my surprise performance. And if he scores top 5, you get 2 points.
Ooh, I like that.
Little double header.
Okay, I like that deal.
Little home GP double header. All right, so we both got Alonso as our surprise performance this week. Worst start to a season that Alonso has had in the last 10 years, I think is the stat. So no points, getting outscored by his teammate, even though he has out-qualified his teammate and outraced his teammate in essentially every race, and then just gotten extremely unlucky. And Lance Stroll has maybe gotten a little bit lucky on a couple races, but Fernando Alonso locking it in, sector times and star signs, surprise performance, which means he's probably got another DNF coming. But
don't say that.
Hopefully
that's a manifestation.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the manifester, you are. So as long as you're manifesting,
you can't
points,
put it out into the universe, though.
Okay. Well,
You're
Fernando
putting the wrong
Alonso in the
vibes.
points this week.
Yes,
we
good
got
vibes.
It.
I got you.
All right. Who is your flop for the weekend?
Okay, this was really hard for me to decide, truthfully. Because
all right, let me hear it.
All right, I'm gonna tell you who I didn't pick first.
Okay, you're gonna tell me. Okay, wait. So you're gonna tell me who's not flopping?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't put Charles to flop.
Okay, good.
Even though a part of me wanted to.
Because you can't put Charles to flop in 2 of the 3 races when he's my favorite driver.
That's what I'm saying.
You're just sticking a dagger in my heart and twisting
I know, I
it.
couldn't. And I also really like him. Mostly his girlfriend and his puppy. But I really like him for those 2 reasons.
So Charles is not flopping at the Spanish
he's not
GP.
Flopping.
That's good because I'm rating him very highly in my predictions this week.
I think, And then I almost put Max. I didn't put Max because last week
you had beef with Max last week.
Yeah.
Where are we at? How's Max and yours
I don't
relationship?
have beef with him anymore.
Okay. What happened?
I think the internet was just, they saw what I commented on him last week about me saying that he wasn't spending enough time with his baby daughter.
Yeah.
Well, the algorithm caught wind and they just started sending me all these little bits of him saying really cute things about his little daughter. And there was one in particular.
What is the top cute thing? What is the cutest of the cute things?
The one in particular was, I think it was a reporter who was interviewing him, and they asked him something like, oh, how has being a father changed you as a driver? Something along the lines of that, I'm pretty sure. And then he responded oh, when I'm racing and when I'm driving, that's what I'm locked in on. That's what I'm focused. That's what I'm here to do. But it's always nice that after the race, I just get to come home to a little girl. And it was just so cute. It just melted my little heart. And I was like, okay, you're back on my good list.
Max the girl dad back on the good list. No longer on the naughty list.
No, and there were a couple other things where he was talking about her and wanting to spend all his time with her. So I was like, okay, I just got one really bad story, I think, that was just feeding me all of these negative things about him.
All right. So
he's not.
Verstappen's back up. Charles is not flopping.
No.
Okay.
But I will tell you who I think is going to flop. And I put Oscar Piastri.
Ooh, Oscar Piastri on the flop. Let me hear about this. Why is he flopping and what position is he finishing below?
Okay, I don't really have a good reason. I just feel it, to be honest. Like I said, this was really hard for me to decide who it would be. And it's obviously not going to be any of the people that I chose for top 3. And I'm like, well, there's only so many people I can leave out that it would be a surprising flop. And so I landed on him.
So what's the flop for Piastri? What position is he below?
I put P7.
P7?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
I did.
P7?
That's really stretching it.
Yeah, considering he's
Okay, P5.
won most of the races and then podiumed the rest other than one.
See, I'm not the F1 expert here. I'm just going based off vibes and I'm always wrong, but now I need to get my points up and I need to reevaluate. Okay, this is me reevaluating. He is going to get, he's not going to be top 3 and that's his flop.
Okay. I'll give you that because I said last week that Piastri would not podium, and because of his string of performance, while that wouldn't normally be a flop, we will call it a flop. Until they break their podium streak, I will count that. So,
okay,
you got some new vibe signals.
But now I feel like I'm copying you from last week.
Yeah, but I was wrong. So,
all right, well, we'll see if it's right this week.
Because Piastri ended up being one of the people that, yeah. Actually, no, never mind. I didn't call Piastri as my flop. I called Piastri as my flop the week before.
Okay, so I'm not
That's
copying.
what it was.
Okay, this is my own vibe.
I called him my flop for Imola.
This is my own vibe. I have my own vibe of what I think will happen this weekend. We shall see if I'm right. I'm behind in the points, so clearly my stars are not feeding me the right juices.
Yeah. I called Piastri a flop at Imola, but I was wrong about that. So we will take it.
Okay.
For my flop, which kind of aligns with yours in a way, but it's going to be harder. I'm calling McLaren. I don't know if I'm in Delulu land with this one, considering that they've like been on the podium for every single race. Won a number of them, are the number one constructor.
Wait, are you saying as a team?
As a team.
Wait, I didn't know that was a thing.
The whole team flops. I am calling the flexi wing goes away. And McLaren flops. And by flop, that means that neither of them podium, which would be crazy. It'd be crazy if both of them did not podium.
Why is that not your crazy prediction?
I have another one.
Okay.
Although my flop honestly might be more of a crazy prediction than my crazy prediction, but
okay.
I don't know. They're yeah, I don't know. It could be debatable.
Okay.
That's a good point. It could be debatable, but I'm calling McLaren as my flop.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I can't call my crazy prediction as my flop because my crazy prediction isn't a flop. So McLaren, if I'm going to call someone being down out of the two, it has to be McLaren.
Okay.
All right. So locked in, flop.
Locked in.
Flexi wing.
Locked in.
Ferrari boys are up.
This is your final.
Yeah, Ferrari boys are up.
Okay. Cool.
Pole position. Who do you got?
Max.
All right. So Max goes.
He's back in my good graces.
Max goes from last week, from her flop of the week, gonna just like quit the Monaco GP and hang out on his new 12 million euro yacht, to 5 days later is pole position. All right. Well, I also have Max as pole position. So I don't know, the vibes and the sector times and the star signs, they're all coming together and they are cooking something up here. I think, like I said, with the flexi wing going away, which supposedly, we'll see how this all pans out, but a lot of people say will help McLaren, will help Max, apparently will help Ferrari. Max also, on top of that, he is really good with circuits that have high-speed corners. We saw this at Imola in Sector 1, where you could see just Max was visibly so much quicker through that sector, just absolutely locked in through the high-speed corners, very committed. McLaren, you saw, was not as quick through that sector, was a little bit more timid through those high-speed corners, but they were a lot quicker in Sectors 2 and Sectors 3. The Spanish GP has definitely some high-speed corners to it, so I think between Max just being so committed in those styles of tracks and the flexi wing going away, that's why I have Max Verstappen back on pole. Moving over into the top 3, who do you got at number 3? Third step of the podium.
Third step. Okay. I was prepared for first. I put
I gotta
Carlos.
save the best for last. Ooh, I like it. I don't think it'll happen, but I like it.
That's really bad for my vibes. Okay. I don't like all this negativity. Okay. No, I think he has a good chance. And the reason I think that is, again, it's also his home race.
It is.
And he's been doing bad.
He's actually qualified really well here the last couple years. Granted, he was in a Ferrari at that time, not a Williams, but this is a decent track for him. It would be insane to put a Williams on the third step of the podium, but I will take the home GP pick. I like it. I respect it.
I have to. It's only right.
So I'm going with Lewis, who has not had the best season outside of getting a bit lucky at Imola with the VSCs and safety cars. And then also, he did have the Chinese GP sprint win, which was pretty cool. But generally speaking, has not done that well this season, especially comparative to Charles. Even in Imola, where he placed better, Charles looked much quicker, but Charles got unlucky with the VSCs. Lewis got lucky. But Lewis has historically been pretty good at this track. He is the driver on the grid with the most victories here, the active driver on the grid with the most victories here. He has also done pretty well here with Mercedes the last couple years. I believe it was last year where he placed second, where Mercedes has, obviously not been that great in their recent generation of cars. And so Lewis putting it, second place, given that car. And I think Ferrari is a better car this year than Mercedes was last year, and supposedly going to be even better this weekend after the FlexiWing update. So we have a lot of our predictions here hinging on FlexiWing updates. But yeah, between all of that combination, I think Lewis gets back on the podium, gets us a P3. Ferrari boys are up. Strong run for the rest of the season, closing out the triple header of European tracks. Lewis Hamilton, P3. Who do you got P2 for the vibes, for the star signs?
Max is my P2.
All right, so Max is on pole, but finishing P2.
Yeah, I don't have him finishing.
Interesting. Oh, you don't have him finishing.
As P1, as first place.
All right. Why do the vibes see a Max Verstappen pole, but a Max Verstappen not victory?
I don't know. I just feel like that's I don't know. I feel like it's just boring if I have him on pole and then also winning. I just don't foresee that.
For the plot.
It's for the plot.
You have things switching up.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Got to keep things interesting. Keep you on your toes a bit.
All right. Well, I'm continuing to ride the Ferrari train. Leclerc, second step of the podium, locking out the McLaren flop. Ferrari up, McLaren down, FlexiWing, savior of the F1 2025 season.
You're really coming for this FlexiWing. I kind of feel bad for it.
I am.
Like, what did it do?
If we had a mortgage, I would bet it.
Divorce immediately.
But what if it panned out?
I'm not a betting woman like that. I'm sorry. No.
I'm betting the house. I'm betting the house on the FlexiWing.
Well, I'm glad that we do not have any assets together that you can do that for quite yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, the house is bet. It's locked in.
Guys, I might be homeless soon.
Locked.
I might be homeless soon.
You might be paying rent next month. I'm kidding.
Never say that to me ever again.
All right. Moving over into our number one, our top step. Who is knocking Max off pole to finish on the top step?
I put Lando Norris.
So totally wrecking my McLaren flop prediction.
He won Monaco.
He did.
And from what you said, it's a pretty tough track, grid, race.
It's a tough track to overtake on, which kind of kind of diffuses your Max Verstappen getting overtaken theory.
But maybe something happens.
Okay.
Like a pit crew pause. Like a pit crew.
Oh, some pit stop errors.
Maybe. Pizza.
Are you real Michael Schumacher Ferrari?
If you know, you know.
All right, so Red Bull has had a couple issues with their pit stop with the light that signals whether to take off or not, getting stuck or mistriggering. So it wouldn't be out of the picture that Red Bull has another pit stop misfortune this weekend, maybe on the horizon.
You said it's tough to overtake, but not impossible.
Not impossible. And Imola was tough to overtake, but we saw a lot of overtakes there, so we will see. All right, I have Max locked in, the double pull to top step of the podium. Like I said, I am betting the metaphorical house mortgage on the flexi wing this weekend. A lot riding on something that I don't even fully understand, which is the best way to have it. But yeah, so I think Max, the high speed corners, the commitment that he has in high speed corners, the fact that supposedly they're going to get a little bit of a boost by this regulation change. It's been talked about since the very beginning of the season, how there was going to be a regulation change at this race, and it's always been positioned as like this is going to be in the favor of Max Verstappen. It's going to be not in the favor of McLaren, which probably means that like it's not going to do anything at all. But that's what all of the technical experts have been saying, so I have to trust them. And yeah, so I'm going with Max to secure victory here and close down the gap in the World Drivers' Championship to Lando Norris and McLaren and Oscar Piastri, who are a little bit out front now that the Monaco GP has finished and Max didn't do that great there. So rebound for Max, which I think, according to you, he's in your good favors again. So I think some things are aligning. I think they're aligning. We'll see, though. Who do you got as your crazy prediction to close us out?
Okay, this is crazy, but also not that surprising, probably. Yuki.
Here we go.
Yuki, if you can hear me, you're probably never going to hear me. I predict this will be the best race of his career.
I don't even know what position Yuki has. I don't know what Yuki's best finishing position is, to be honest.
Okay, I did Google this.
Okay.
And it was 2021. What race was it?
Was it in like the rain or something?
Was it Japanese? It might have been Japanese. 2021 race. I think he got P8.
That's his best finish?
I think so.
Really?
I think. It was in 2021.
Huh. I mean,
in F1.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, he's been in the RB, Visa Cash App, AlphaTauri. We change the name every 2 years car, which historically has been a very mid to back of the field car. So I guess it's not that surprising that P8 would be his top finish, but I would have thought that there was maybe like some like race in the rain at some point with some carnage and whatever, and maybe he pulled out like a P6 or a P7, but
I think it was
all right.
P8.
So a top 8 finish for Yuki, where you had, I think last week, didn't you have him like third place, or the week before? Didn't you have him like, no, you had him in top 5 at some point though.
I did, for like a surprise performance. That was my first one, and I'm still learning F1. Okay. I'm still learning the ropes.
Yeah.
And I'm getting better.
Yeah,
I at least can recognize some of the names besides Yuki and Max and Charles.
All right, so Yuki top 8 with the surprise performance. So similar.
You got it, Yuki.
Similar to her third step of the podium prediction, I'm also going with the home favorite. Well, maybe not. I don't know if Fernando Alonso or Carlos Sainz is more popular there. I'm not really sure, but I'm going with Carlos Sainz in a Williams top 5 finish, but specifically Carlos Sainz home GP, top 5. I'm not going for podium. I think that might be a little bit too crazy. But, you know, anything can happen. So yeah, Carlos Sainz, top 5, crazy prediction, locking it in. And that rounds out our segment of sector times and star signs with our predictions for the Spanish GP of Barcelona. And we will catch you all later for our race review and driver ratings. See you all later.
See ya.